Hey class, welcome back. Hey, today we're going to put together the elevation sheets. There can be, depending on how your house is and what you've done, there could be a lot to this. There could be a little bit to this. Um, so what we're going to do is hopefully go through some things that I'm expecting you to do on your drawings. So I've started out here in a 3D view. The roof's missing, so I want to make sure I bring that back first. I'm going to go down to my little blue light here, my hide and show option here, and I'm going to bring back the upper level roof and just unhide that so that it is ready to go. And then just back to the yellow light and turn that back off again. And so we have our elevation kind of ready to go. Kind of look here in the 3D view real quick to see kind of what we're wanting to show. One is, if you notice, my vertical lines are way over here, very far away from the building. Now, if I have done my work right, and I've done some landscaping, you should have your sidewalks in here, your curb and gutters. That'll eventually show up in this. I've got them not shown for right now because they're kind of maybe in the road. And I'm going to throw in real quickly a tree or two here just to give some element real quick. So we see this again in the site plan. Just to put in a little honey locust, and not the best tree in the world. They're kind of considered a garbage tree, but let's get a little tree here just to have a little bit of context for this building and to give it some frame around it, just a wee bit there. Okay, just so you have some architectural elements or some landscaping elements to go with it. Now, when we're doing work on the elevations, the 3D is probably the least place we want to work. So I'm going to move over to the browser, and then go down to the front elevation, and then open that view up. Now, when we get in here, you can see the trees. They're really not helpful in our elevation. That's one of the reasons why they're hidden. They're not adding a great deal. In fact, they kind of cover up what I'm trying to get the contractor to build. And if they can't see it, they're not going to build it correctly. So if you have vegetation in here, while it looks really good in some situations, like on our cover sheet that we'll do a little later, for the actual elevation views, I really don't want them here. So I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to hide those elements. Okay, so if you remember, you're just going to right click and hide in the element in the view. And we'll do the same with this tree here. And anything else that you feel is blocking the view of your house. Because in the elevations, we're trying to draw emphasis to the house because that's what's being built. The landscaping is on the landscaping plans or the site plans. Now, the next thing we've got to do is we've got to rearrange some stuff going on over here. Things are a little wild. So we got to clean up this view so it's decent and we can use it on our sheets. So I have this section cut. That is the vertical one. I'm just going to move it up so it goes a little bit better and isn't inside the proper elevation here. The next is I'm going to move these dimension strings, this vertical stack of dimensions, closer to the house. I'm going to do that by doing a window, and that's a closed window, so that selects everything inside the view and nothing else. And then do a move up here in my modified tab, and then grab an endpoint and then move very, very straight. Stay on that dotted line. And I want the lines to come just over the edge of the, well, I can go a little bit less. We'll stop it right here. And let that move over. It's going to take a minute because it's a shifting on every view in your file. And so that's going to take it a little bit of time. So just give it a minute. There we go. Now there's a couple of lines that I want to bring all the way across. And so to do that, I'm going to start with the basement. Now, if you don't have a basement, then this won't be applicable to you. But I've got a little weird thing going on here. So I've got top of basement footing, and I've got the top of basement. I want the basement floor line. I'm going to unlock that, and I'm going to take that line, that blue circle, and I'm going to carry that all the way across the building. Okay, because I need that. That's a critical point that bases everything. So I'm just going to bring that all the way across to the opposite side and then end there. And just again, so it's just a little bit beyond the building. The next I'm going to do that with is the main floor. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to unlock that, grab the blue circle, carry that all the way across, and line it up with the end point of the basement floor. So it goes all the way through. So now I know where my floors are, which means I'm going to do the same thing for the second or upper floor. Unlock and carry that one all the way across and line it up. Okay. Now that gets my views all cleaned up, which is great. Now I do have to do some other cleanup down here, is that it's very difficult to read what's going on here. So I'm going to adjust these so that there's not this overlap of information. So doing a lot of this is pre-set up to make it easier when we go to the sheet. So I'm going to start with the top of the footing. So there's a 4-inch difference there. And there's a little, like it looks like a little heartbeat, a little break line. I'm going to click on that and then break that string. And I'm going to adjust it a little bit so that I can pull that down. So this first circle here, the one on the right, I can pull that down and I can move it pretty much anywhere I want, except I have to stay lined up with the other datums. This circle with the checker part in it is called a datum. And then I'm going to take and slide it over to underline the title and bring that over. You have to shift the top to get that to work the way you need it to. And so everything stays underlined and to right there. Now, the way this bend is, that's up to you. There's not a rule to that. Some people try and line these all up. It really doesn't matter. What matters is these datums line up and the endpoints of your lines, they stay lined up. Now I've got my basement floor. I'm going to do the same thing. That one's already got a break in it. So I'm just going to slide that one over. And then I'm going to underline, bring the underline over. And they can be at an angle or a 90. If you want to be consistent, you can make sure they're all doing the same thing. Whatever style you decide to go with, be consistent. That's really important. Okay, now we move up. We got the garage footing. That's clear on the other side. We're going to leave that there. We got a lot going on here. We've got our windows. We've got a finish grade. I'm probably going to work on the window area here. So start with that one. Find that break. And again, we can pull it down a little bit. Don't need too much. So slide this and this. And it says top of basement windows. I'm going to abbreviate that. We've been using this abbreviation quite a bit here, the TO. So T period, O period for top of. That's a pretty standard abbreviation in the industry. And enter that in. Now, it should hopefully adjust to make things fit. It doesn't always adjust. These title blocks, their boxes don't shift as well as I like them to when they create out. So do the best you can there. It's not going to be too critical because it will stay readable here as we work it. Now the rest gets a little muddied here. So notice I'm working from the bottom up because it just makes it easier. My finish grade is right where it should be, but the text there is that kind of stuck inside of the topography. We're going to take care of that by just taking this topography line and we're going to hide it in a little bit, but not at the moment. I'm going to bring everything else up first, though. So I'm going to take, notice this text box here is also kind of a little bit squared out. And if we can get that to edit, we will. But we're going to take the main floor and then break that one. And I'm going to go up with that. So find the circle, go up with it. Slide that one over. And we'll pull this over. And that is our 0 level. Let's go and square that up like I've done the others. So that's the 0 inches. There's no grade differential there. Then we're going to do the same with the foundation. We're going to break that one. Now, this will vary on everybody. So just kind of do what you need to do to make it as readable as you possibly can. And again, you do have to make sure you're shifting both nodes, those little blue circles, those nodes, so they get to where they're readable. Now my finished grade is looking pretty good there. Um, I might go to pull that one up just a wee bit to get that text. I really would have liked to see the basement windows fix a little bit. I'm just going to pull that down and a little bit down here to adjust for that, which means my garage is also a little off. So shift these as you need to. I'll probably adjust these more in a little bit, but this datum's way out here, so it's kind of bothering me. So I'm gonna slide it over and get that lined up better. And when you do the datum lines, those are not always the easiest to shift, but again, it's a circle, not the solid. So shifting things can get a little back and forth, as this is. I've got to fix one to fix the other and get those lined up. It just makes things look much easier if everything lines up. And go ahead and make the adjustments you need to all the way up so that it's exactly what you need it to be on those text boxes. I really wish I could get in and adjust that text box a little bit. And there's probably a way to do that if I can. Not seeing an edit option on that one the way it was created. So let me go ahead and break the footing here for the garage. And so notice I'm just switching everything and to get it all to lay out right so it's readable. Now the other thing I could do is if I look, these have their 1/4 inch tiles, which is fine. A 1/4 inch is 2/8 of an inch, which is 4/16. If I change that height on that text, and I'd have to go in and look for the edit. I'd have to create a new family as well. Now we'll maybe do a video on that, on how to create new families so that you can change this font height so it's a little bit smaller. So we could do like story level, and that makes just the level itself. If you do the head, they're adjustable. We just have to go in and change it, and we'll go look about what that's look like on a different video here. All right, now I've got my windows. I can bring those down a little bit more, and again make it so it's not conflicting. So there, that portion from the main level down looks really good. It's readable. Go up to the top. I need to change this upper low floor line. I'm going to break that one. So it gets a little easier as we go up. Maybe because you don't have the foundation, you don't have the grade, you don't have a lot of things going on that would otherwise make your life a little sticky. So we'll just clean things up a little bit here. It's my upper floor, readable. And oops, I'm doing the, kind of got a mix there. And then one more for the upper level top plate. And we'll move that one up, find that, pull that one up, slide it over, and you make sure it underlines the title. And we'll put that there. Okay, so that gets that part all cleaned up. And you're going to have to do this on all of the elevations, so all 4, and on additional elevations if you have anything else in your house style that requires it. So that gets us to this point, which is a good place to be. Now the rest of this, I'm going to move into the sheet. Okay, so that gets me a starting point. I do have this viewpoint that's going around the whole thing. Believe it or not, you can hide that too. You just hide that element, and that's gone. And you'll probably want to do that. It's still there. You can still come back and find it, but it doesn't help with what we're trying to do. So if you want to hide those at this point, you can. Those are created on the main level floor line. We'll go back and look at those real quick. See where that's coming from to give you an idea. So we go in the other, that is this box here. And you can adjust how far they are by just shifting the arrows. And that's another way of adjusting what your view is entailing. Again, it's pretty easy to hide it, and so it's not in the road. All right, now we're ready to put our sheet together. So back to the browser, slide down to the sheets, and we then go to sheet 4, which is your front and right side elevations. So I'm going to open that sheet, and it looks pretty overall good. The difference is it's not on the sheet; it's kind of off to the side. So I need to adjust those. So if I'm going to pull this out a little bit so you can see what's going on, I still have that view box here, and I'm just going to go ahead and hide that as well. Clear that up. And there's another one. So each view has its own view box. So there's another one there. It's not going to let me move that one. And then I've got the views around. So let me pull that back just a minute. Should do a save, but so we have this view box, and if I move that, that is the right side, and this one is the front. So I'm just going to pull them off for a minute and kind of get a feel for what I want to do here. So the sheet is set up with the two views already assigned to it, but we need them to fit. So I'm going to bring this guy down and get it on there and kind of position where I want it to go. And then I notice that the topography, the site proper, is just really too large. But we'll work on that now in this view. We'll then be going back and forth between the front and the sheet for a minute here as we clean that up. This guy, and then I do something here. I'm going to let this sit over here on the side for a minute, and we'll clean that one up. Now, the trees are missing here, but they show back up here because they only show the trees in the front view. Now, I'm working with the front view. This is a window from this sheet to the front view. So whatever I've done there happens here. And that's an important thing for you to remember because it's going to help you keep everything easier to work on. Okay. Now, if I zoom up a little bit here, this blue outline is the viewport, the view box itself. If I double click inside of that, notice my title block has gone gray. I am literally working in the front view through the front view sheet. So from sheet 4, I'm working on the front view. So whatever I do here will change here. Okay, now that's really important for you to remember because if you delete something, it's deleted everywhere. It's not just hidden. Well, I'm going to zoom up on here, and we got this topography, our soil, that's just really heavy. And what I want to do is I want to just change that out with a line. Now, right now, my drawing is set with the thin lines on. That's TL for the hotkey on that. It's up here at the top of your screen. It's also in the views. If you go to your view tab, it's your thin line option. It just thins your lines out. If I turn that off, the lines will thicken up where they're thick lines. And so I'm going to leave that thin for right now while I'm working on it, but I need to add a line on top of a line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this 1 foot thick piece of dirt with a single line. So I'm going to go into my annotate, and I'm going to go into a detail line. Oops, that was not the detail line. Detail line. And over here right now I'm on medium lines. So in this area, this draw area, there's my line styles, and there is my line, medium line. So if I put a down arrow on here, I've got just a few lines in here, and I would like to create a new line type. And that's the next style that we're going to do at the next step. So to create a new line type, it can be complicated. It's really not that bad. You have here your line work. And if you click on that, it also has lines. So you have invisible lines and so forth. And I want to create a new line type, and we want to do that next. Okay, so get yourself ready. Here we go. Okay, so what we're going to do to make this new line type, we're going to go into Manage, up here at the top. You then go under Additional Settings, and we then go to Line Styles. Okay, so we click on Line Styles, and then we're going to come down and hit New. Now we're going to give it a name, and the name we're going to give this is just Grade GRAD. So like finish grade. Okay. If you want to call it I mean, it doesn't have to be line. A lot of words. This is just for you. So this is your grade line. And then when it comes down to the category of lines, we hit OK. And then we're going to pick the type of line we want. So first we're going to set the weight. So the weight is the thickness. And we're going to do this one to 6. So it's going to be a little bit thicker than any of the old lines we currently have available to you. Go ahead and leave it black, but the type of line, the pattern of the line that we want here is solid. So just a good solid thick line. Okay. Now we're going to do another one. So we're going to apply that. And so it's in there. And we hit OK. We then go through the whole thing one more time. And then go additional settings, line styles, new, because we're adding another line. This one is going to be below grade. So BELOWGRADE. So anything below the grade line, we're then use out this new type of line that we're creating. So hit OK. This one is going to be a 4. So go ahead and pick a 4 on there. So it's kind of thick, but not terribly. Actually, I think let's go 3. 3 is a good one there. Stay black. We're going to look on the line types for this one, though. I'm going to scroll down and see if we can find. Well, there's a lot of lines in here to pick from. You guys should have a lot of fun making lines. What I'm wanting is not showing. All these structural notes. All these are text lines. So when you bring in fonts and texts, it brings in their own line types, which is always kind of a fun one to use. Plus, if you brought in any that from anything you've imported from your Revit city, we'll bring that in as well. Okay, I want a dash. I will do a dash. Okay, yeah, it's actually hidden line. Let's do a hidden 3/32. We'll see what that looks like. We may have to come back and change this one. Not quite sure what that's going to look like, so we're going to apply that and hit OK. Now, just so I know it looked like, I'm going to go architecture, actually annotate, detail line. We'll go here, and I'm going to choose that below grade line. I'm just going to draw a line so I can see what it looks like. Oh, that's perfect. That's a beautiful line. Great. All right, now the fun begins. We're going to do annotate detail line. And the line I want you to pick is the grade line. So go ahead and get your grade line. And we're going to start on the top of the soil, about 3 feet off to the left or right, and draw that line all the way across to about 3 feet beyond the building on the other side. So just about there. Okay, and then we'll right click and cancel. Now, if I go up to the top and turn my thin lines off, that should be a nice thick line, almost as thick as the topo line. There's that line, nice and thick, okay, which is what I want. Once you get that line in there, do modify, select your topo, solid, right click and hide that element. Now you still have the gray line, so we still know where that is, which makes it really kind of nice. Now, the rest of this gets to be a little bit tricky, okay? So we're going to select a line, and at least try to. We're going to come into your Modify tab, and we're going to use this guy right here, this line work option. We're going to click on that, and set it to invisible lines, and we're going to select lines, and they then go invisible. And I would suggest we do these kind of in a little bit one layer at a time so that you don't get lost as where we're at. So those lines are all, now you might have multiple lines because this is the entire house. So you have to maybe click 2, 3, maybe 4 times to get everything to disappear and change on you. So you're just changing these to hidden lines or to invisible lines. Now that one's going to be a little tricky because I think it's the bottom of the foundation's a little tricky there, but kind of click and get them as invisible as you can. There we go. And sure like that to disappear. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just a resolution. Okay. So once they're gone, and they might just show up a little pieces, we then go back and do annotate, detail line, go and get your below grade line, and draw that whole line system back that you just deleted. Now, I do have that line that keeps showing there. Don't worry about it if you got a little graphics lint. But now that's a hidden line. Okay, now, so anything below grade, we have to do that too. So it's going to take us a minute. So now I'm going to go back to my change line type work. And I'm going to, this is where it gets really tricky, is hiding these guys, these verticals, because you're not going to be able to see them as well. They're going to disappear. So you got to kind of keep a mental record of where they were and what they're for. And some of them will disappear really well. Some will be remembered by the video card too well. We get all those walls out. Okay, then we go back to annotate, detail line. Now we're already on our below grade, so I'm just going to draw over the top. Now it's heavier than what those lines are, which is good. So it'll dominate, which is also good. And we can then work that out just a little bit. Now these others that actually did what they're supposed to, when they do pick line, and just find those lines that are invisible and select on them. And they'll just kind of take care of themselves. So there, there, and there. So you can just kind of work those through a little bit. And then we go back to our change and we start changing out lines again. Now, once you get more comfortable with this, excuse about the coughing, you can just go through and start hiding lines and just come back and repick them all and bring them all back as you need to. But it is kind of a little tedious because every edge is going to be showing, and it does get to be, it is a little boring, especially when you have to do this to 4 sides of your house. But it is kind of essential that you put this kind of quality into your work and make drawings that follow industry standard. Okay, so that line's gone. Back to these are going to have to go invisible well because we've got this little piece up here that we have, and then we have pieces below. Because they stick up above these edges, I'm going to actually come through and do the detail line first on these. So annotate, detail line, below grade. I'm just going to draw from the grade line down, right over the top. And it might make it a little easier. I don't know if it will or not for you, but it's how I do it because I don't like to have to come back and try and figure out what I got rid of. And especially if I miss the lines, it just makes things a little easier to see where you're going. But to get these lines all the right style is kind of a big deal in a lot of ways. And then you would come back, and I'm just going to do part of it right now, and I'll go back and forth. Then we go back to our change, and we're making this one invisible. And there's a lot of them there because every edge, and it will leave that little thin line there. And you can keep clicking until it kind of clears up. It is going to be a graphics thing on some of this. I'm going to have to come back and fix up here. But again, it's not a terribly difficult thing to do once you get your lines in. So clean this one. And notice if I put my cursor between the dashes, it only picks the lines that need to be selected. So there are tricks to it, and that's always a good thing. I'm going to hide that line there, my concrete pad, and just take that out so it's a little easier. All right, now let's go ahead and get this guy. Take that, and I'll go to the top one as well. Back to annotate. So whatever order works for you to create the lines the way they need to. And again, you can use the pick line option and just put those back in. Works really, really well on there. So just kind of a little thing to look at. And make that one invisible. Oops, I changed that one. That was not what I wanted to do there. Let's go back and fix that. Oops, detail. Made a mistake. Isn't that great? Okay, back here. This one and this one. Then we go back to modify. You have to make sure you follow through with what version you're working in, so you can, or what command, so things get hidden the way they should. And go ahead and do this one, this one, this one, and this one, this one, this one again and again. So when you have these walls that go far back, a lot of times they will kind of dominate and come back up and through. So it's not a big deal, because you have your dominant line here that's going to come back. There's one there, piece there. Now that one, I put that line in, so I'm going to pull this down so it doesn't go up through. Okay, I want to make sure I keep things clarified as to what's where. Then change this one, and this one's going to pull down to here. So if you're doing the pick line, you do have to come make sure you modify your lines, and I'll show what you're going to do here in just a minute as we get above. So we got this one, so you get one, and that one again pulls down to here. And then we do our pick lines here, pull this one down, and that puts that there. Change that one there. And we should have, let's see, this one here and this one here. Okay, and both those get pulled down as well. They're back beyond, so they come all the way down here. And this one does as well. So if you need to, just screenshot first if you have a hard time remembering where your lines need to be, and so you can clean your drawing up. And I need to fix this one. You can do trims as well if you want to do a trim. That works just as well. All right, now I'm going to do that. Now, once you get that in, go back to your detail line. You're going to switch your line type to, let's see, just a line. And then draw, again, pick line piece. Actually, I'm going to draw a line because don't want to do all this deleting and trimming, and I want to be, that's the wrong line. Sorry, I told you the wrong line. Let's go back in here to your annotate detail line. I've got to pick a line that's a solid medium line from here to there. And then anywhere that these foundation walls are coming up to the next level, make sure you show these. They're showing the corners of your foundations, so we know where those are at. Technically, I probably wouldn't see that one, but it's all good. And it is about the same weight, so let's cancel that. And that goes up. And there should be a little bit of brick overhang on those, but you're not going to see it on the final drawing because it's so small. All right, that cleans up this front elevation, and it puts it on the sheet where it needs to. Now, I'm still inside that view. I'm still gray. Make sure you pay attention to this. Double click off the side, and you do that until your tile block's not gray anymore. It comes back in black. Okay, now this view, notice how this view is much smaller. We pulled things in, we got rid of the topo. It fits much better. You can still move that view around if you want a little more space up and down. You can position things better. You may have to stagger your views, but now I can take and work on this view and then do the exact same thing. Okay, so if you need to rewind and come back through that, please do. But I can need this back on the sheet. And if I need to change the view on this, you've got to be able to select the view. So in your view sheets, if you do edit type and you look at the parameters, you're not going to get anything on this because it's all locked up. So I need to double click inside, start here. I'm going to hide that element. Don't need that. Double click on the outside. If I do a crossing window and try and grab it, I should be able to adjust these scales. And what we want to do is you're not going to be able to change it up here where you normally would. You're going to have to get a little creative with where we look at this. So when we're changing these views, we want to get everything edited first. You can go in, and if you need to make, let's go ahead and hide the trees again, change the scale. So it can go to an 1/8 inch if you need to. But we want to do that only when we need to. Now this one, my view scales are too much onto the house. So if I look at what I did before, I need them off to the side. I'm going to then do this. I'm going to window. Ooh, it'll be tricky. If I right click and select all instances in view, then scroll out, make sure it's not up. It's then grab these over here. So you're going to have to get these so that you're only selecting these views. Now, they should be locked together. So if you just take and slide them over, and we'll do a move of this one and finish. Theoretically, it should move all of them. It doesn't look like it's going to. They should all be linked together, so they all have to move together. That is not good. This new version, things get changed up. So in order to pick these, use your shift key. And if you've got your shift is on a minus, do your, it's control key. Control key is plus, shift key is minus. Select each line or datum. If you do the datum points, it might be a little easier for you, but you want to get each of these added to the selection set with the control key so that you're selecting only this grouping of elevation markers and these datum points. And give it a minute to float so it gets them selected. Be patient with it. You can do this. It's not super tricky. It just makes you be patient. Okay, once I have them, and then go to move, right click, get on the end point. I know this is where I want, and I'm just going to slide that over just about there. Make sure you're going straight. We clean these all up first, and then you'll be good to go. It does take a minute to do all this moving. You got 3 more elevations to work on and get cleaned up. So we'll just keep working on until we get them where you want them. Again, your upper level floor line, your basement floor and your main floor, carry those all the way across. Again, to remind you that we're just going to take and select it, unlock it, grab the circle, pull that all the way across so we know where that floor line is. There's our stairs, and that's so sweet. Okay, so we get that part. Do that on each of those levels. Again, upper level floor line, main level floor line, basement floor line. If you don't have a basement, then don't worry about it. Easy peasy. But you want them to line up. Okay, come on. You can do this. There we go. My garage is going to come along all the way over. Lock it up in there. Okay. So they all lock up. Then go through and fix them so they're readable. Adjust them, break the line. Draw in your annotate detail line, your grade line. So you got that to select from now. Grade line. Just grab about 3 feet off one. Trace over your topo. Solid. Go beyond the stairs so you know your stairs are anchored down. The topo's going to get hidden now. So I'm going to hide that. Now, there is something a little bit different on this, is the window is below grade. So that means this window, if I go in that window line, if I change those window lines, I'm going to just try this, make them all below grade lines. Nothing's going to happen. You have to trace over your window. So again, annotate, detail line, and this is pretty straightforward. It doesn't have to be quite so detailed. So again, it's your below grade. And then do a rectangle. And I'm just going to go around the outside real quick. So I have the outside done. And what I'm going to do, just so that outlines there, I'm going to do another one real quick. Detail. I'm not going to get really detailed with it. I'm going to do the trim. So here, whoops, I should have done rectangle. Rectangles are easier. Then take it from that, find a corner. You can see all these lines we've got that make up that window. It's very busy. So I'm just going to take and do the outside, inside. I'm not going to try and make it look exactly the same. I don't need that. That's just a lot of pressure. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do this. I'm going to take modify, select the window, and I'm going to hide it. Just going to hide that element. And there's my window. That's all I need to do for the windows in your basement. I just need to show there's a window there. I'm not going to do the detail because it's underground. I can't see it. Okay? And then go through and do your modifies and your change things to their invisible line. So again, make sure you have invisible lines. Select those elements. Get them to disappear. They won't all disappear always, so don't beat yourself up. It really depends on how many levels of line there is, and on that. And I'm just going to go through and hide those all out. And again, you've got your top of grade line here. So you don't want to get too much. Oh, what did that? Top of basement footing line came along. We shouldn't have come along. Okay. It looks like there's I didn't unlock things very well. All right, then you go back to your annotate, your detail line. Now you then go to below grade. Go ahead and use your pick. Put that one in there, one in there. You get the two lines, and then you can just modify those and take them to the next thing. So clear over here. Might as well put that in too while I'm at it. All right, I'm going to let you guys go work on this because there are a few things for you to do here now and get you all set and ready to go with your elevations. All 4 elevations need to be done. Okay, make them look good, and that'll be great if you can do that. And let's see if I get that to go stay visible. All right, let's finish this one up here real quick and do my line picks. Pick a line, and actually this guy, it's trend line, just need to modify. Take this guy here, stretch it over, and this one, and stretch it over, All right. And then just make your elevations. Now, when you get all done, again, remember, double click on the outside. Title block's not gray anymore. Take your view and you can move it back onto the sheet. And you just don't let your buildings overlap. So my section cut here is overlapping. I need to fix that. And that's pretty easy. I just need to stretch it down. So I'm just going to come grab the blue node, stretch that down so it's not on the other view, and pull this one up because it's really way too low. And I'll shift my view depth as well so I don't have lines where lines should belong. And I'll pull this back in a little bit. All right, so again, clean up your dimensions, make everything below grade a hidden line, and do that on both sheets, so all 4 elevations. All right, off to work you go.